There is a secret that for decades was passed down from generation to generation in the countryside, but that almost nobody outside of it knows about. The most incredible thing is that you probably already have the two ingredients in your kitchen and never imagined the enormous power they hide when combined. Today you are going to discover why thousands of people are mixing rosemary with vinegar before spending money on expensive products for the home, hair, and much more. And at the end, I will share the mistake that almost everyone makes when preparing this mixture, and that can cause it to lose a large part of its benefits. Before we begin, I want to ask you a question that you have probably never considered. What if many of the most effective natural solutions had been forgotten because today it is more profitable to sell us products full of artificial ingredients? Take a moment to think about it. What you are about to discover could make you look at two simple ingredients that you may already have at home with different eyes. To understand why this combination has attracted so much interest, we have to look into the past. For centuries, rosemary was much more than an aromatic plant used in cooking. Ancient civilizations considered it a symbol of strength, mental clarity, and well-being. It was common to find it in purification rituals, in traditional remedies, and even in homes where it was believed to help protect the health of the entire family. Vinegar, for its part, has also accompanied humanity for thousands of years. Before many of the products we know today existed, it was one of the most widely used resources for hygiene, food preservation, and different homemade preparations. Its versatility made entire generations trust it as an indispensable ally inside and outside the home. Over the years, the arrival of industry and commercial products pushed many of these traditional forms of knowledge aside. Little by little, we stopped using simple, inexpensive recipes passed down from generation to generation, convinced that everything truly effective had to come in an attractive package or have a complicated formula. But what makes this preparation survive the passage of time, while so many other homemade recipes disappeared? The answer lies in the way these two ingredients interact when they remain together for several days. Before continuing, I want to know who is going to put this ranch trick into practice. Write in the comments. I'll make it today if you commit to doing it. Good. The silent protagonist of this mixture is apple cider vinegar. Thanks to its natural composition, it acts as an excellent medium for capturing many of the compounds present in fresh rosemary. As the branches rest in the liquid, their essential oils, antioxidants, and other plant substances begin to be released slowly, gradually transforming the contents of the jar into an extract much richer than the simple sum of its ingredients. It is a slow process, but that is precisely where its value lies. There is no need to boil, cook, or use special equipment. You simply have to let time do its work. Day after day, the color of the vinegar becomes more intense as it absorbs the natural components of the plant. It is a delicate extraction that preserves many of the properties of rosemary, without the need to resort to industrial processes or artificial additives. What is interesting is that this method is not a recent trend. For generations, different cultures have used this type of maceration to make the most of the qualities of medicinal plants. Today, science continues to study many of these compounds, especially because of their antioxidant capacity and their possible role in protecting cells from the wear and tear caused by free radicals. However, there is one use that in recent years has particularly attracted attention and has turned this mixture into one of the most talked about homemade preparations on the internet. Hair care. Many people believe that the only way to combat hair loss is to invest large sums of money in cosmetic treatments or exclusive products. But more and more people are turning their attention back to traditional solutions that have been used for decades in different parts of the world. Apple cider vinegar helps eliminate accumulated residue on the scalp and promotes a more balanced pH, which tends to leave the hair looking shinier, lighter, and softer to the touch. Meanwhile, rosemary provides bioactive compounds that have attracted the interest of various researchers because of their possible influence on hair, follicle health, and scalp circulation. Think, for example, of someone who begins to notice strands of hair on their pillow or in the shower after a period of intense stress. They also notice that their scalp looks dry, dull, and has small flakes. Instead of constantly changing products in search of an immediate solution, they decide to incorporate this natural preparation into their routine. Over the course of the weeks, and accompanied by good eating habits and personal care, they begin to notice a healthier scalp and better looking hair. When this preparation is used correctly and always diluted, it can become an excellent complement to a hair care routine. The vinegar helps remove accumulated residue, excess oil, and traces of products that remain attached to the scalp, while the natural compounds in rosemary provide a feeling of freshness and promote a healthier environment for the hair. With consistent use, many people say that they notice a cleaner scalp, less discomfort, and hair with greater shine and a better appearance. Now, to obtain a good result, the preparation is just as important as the application. And although the process is very simple, there is one indispensable ingredient that you cannot replace: patience. The first thing you need is a completely clean and dry glass container. Place several sprigs of fresh rosemary inside until they fill approximately 1/3 of the jar. If you only have dried rosemary, it also works, but use a smaller amount because its compounds are more concentrated. Next, pour in the vinegar until it completely covers the rosemary. If your intention is to prepare a toner for hair or skin, apple cider vinegar is usually the most commonly used option. On the other hand, if you want to use it for household cleaning, many people prefer to use white vinegar. Once the container is closed, shake it for a few seconds so that all the ingredients come into contact. Then comes the part that many people want to skip, but that makes all the difference. Store the jar in a cool, dry place, protected from direct light for 2 or 3 weeks. During that time, simply move it gently every 2 or 3 days to encourage the maceration and allow the liquid to continue absorbing the natural compounds from the rosemary. When the process is finished, you will notice that the vinegar no longer looks the same as it did on the first day. Its color will be more intense, and its aroma will clearly resemble the freshly cut plant. At that point, all that remains is to strain the contents through a fine strainer or a clean cloth and transfer the liquid to another container. If you use a spray bottle, its application will be much more convenient both for the hair and for other everyday uses. And although most people prepare this mixture thinking only about strengthening the hair, there is another use that has also attracted a lot of interest: skin care. Currently, there are countless facial toners that promise to improve the appearance of the face, but many include fragrances, alcohols, or ingredients that may be irritating for some people. This preparation represents a much simpler alternative for those who prefer formulas with few ingredients. Rosemary contains compounds with antioxidant and antimicrobial properties that have been widely studied, while vinegar provides natural acids that help gently renew the surface of the skin, promoting a feeling of cleanliness and freshness. However, here it is important to clarify a very important point. Many people believe that applying the preparation directly to the face will increase its benefits, when in reality it can cause irritation, especially on sensitive skin. The safest way to use it is always diluted. A commonly used proportion consists of mixing 1 tablespoon of rosemary extract with 4 tablespoons of rose water or purified water. In this way, a much gentler toner is obtained, suitable for gradually incorporating into the facial routine, always observing how the skin reacts before increasing the frequency of use. But the advantages of this preparation do not end with personal care. In fact, one of its most practical uses appears when you leave the bathroom and take it directly to different corners of the house. Many people are surprised to discover that a single preparation can replace several everyday cleaning products. Instead of filling a cabinet with one cleaner for the kitchen, another for the bathroom, another for the windows, and another for work surfaces, this mixture offers a simple, inexpensive, and very versatile alternative for the most frequent cleaning tasks. If the mixture was prepared with white vinegar, it becomes an excellent all-purpose cleaner. Acetic acid helps loosen grease, dirt, and mineral deposits that tend to accumulate in kitchens and bathrooms. And rosemary provides a much more pleasant herbal aroma than the intense characteristic smell of vinegar used on its own. Acetic acid acts by breaking down many of the layers of grease and residue that adhere to surfaces over the course of days. For this reason, vinegar has been used for generations as an ally for household cleaning. When it also incorporates the essential oils and aromatic compounds of rosemary, the result is a preparation that not only cleans, but also leaves a much more pleasant feeling of freshness in the environment. The result is a homemade cleaner capable of leaving surfaces such as countertops, sinks, faucets, tiles, work tables, and even windows sparkling, all without the need to use several different products for each task. It can also be used to clean the inside of the refrigerator, shelves, dining tables, doors, switches, garden furniture, and even some stainless steel surfaces, always first performing a small test in an inconspicuous area to check compatibility with the material. One of the greatest benefits of this preparation is that it helps simplify the cleaning routine. Instead of constantly changing products depending on the surface, it is enough to have a single spray bottle ready to use throughout much of the home. Imagine finishing cooking a large meal. The countertop is splattered with grease. The stovetop needs a good cleaning, and the sink has lost its usual shine. Instead of resorting to several different containers, you simply spray this preparation onto the surfaces. Wait a few moments and wipe with a clean cloth. The grease comes off more easily, and the environment is infused with a fresh aroma that reminds you of freshly cut rosemary. Now imagine another very common situation. In the bathroom, small limescale stains begin to appear around the faucets, and the shower screen gradually loses its transparency because of dried water droplets. Instead of using products with very strong smells, you apply this mixture to the affected areas. Let it sit for a few minutes, and then clean with a microfiber cloth. Little by little, the surfaces regain their natural shine, and the bathroom is left with a pleasant feeling of cleanliness. Another detail that many people appreciate is that this preparation does not leave that intense artificial fragrance that tends to remain for hours after using some commercial cleaners. Instead, rosemary provides a soft herbal aroma that conveys a pleasant feeling of freshness without being overpowering. In addition, when preparing the cleaner at home, you can reuse the same spray bottle again and again. This not only reduces spending on cleaning products, but also the amount of plastic containers that end up being discarded over the months. It is a small change that, repeated throughout an entire year, can represent considerable savings both for your wallet and for the environment. And there is still another use that many people discover by chance and then do not want to give up: caring for clothes during the wash. Conventional fabric softeners often leave an intense fragrance on clothes, but they can also accumulate residue in the fibers over time. This is especially evident in towels, sportswear, or technical garments, which gradually lose their ability to absorb or retain odors that are difficult to eliminate. Here, vinegar once again demonstrates why it has been used for generations. It helps remove detergent residue trapped between the fibers, leaving fabrics with a softer and more flexible feel. At the same time, rosemary provides a very subtle herbal aroma that conveys a pleasant feeling of cleanliness. Think of that sports shirt that, even after going through the washing machine, seems to retain a slight odor when you wear it again. Many people add approximately half a cup of this preparation to the compartment intended for fabric softener during the final wash cycle. When finished, the clothes usually feel fresher, with less static electricity, and without the intense artificial fragrance of many commercial fabric softeners. In addition, the characteristic smell of vinegar practically disappears as the clothes dry, leaving only a feeling of natural cleanliness. And the most surprising thing is that we still haven't reached one of the most versatile uses of this mixture, one that can help you keep different areas of your home much fresher in a simple and inexpensive way. But that's not all. There is another use that has caught the attention of those who prefer to keep their home free of insects without constantly relying on aerosols with strong odors. During the warmer months, it is common for mosquitoes, flies, and ants to appear more frequently inside and outside the home. At those times, many people automatically turn to commercial insecticides. However, there are also homemade alternatives that make use of scents that are unpleasant to some insects. Rosemary stands out precisely because of its intense herbal scent, a characteristic that can help keep certain species away when used properly. Combined with vinegar, it produces a very useful preparation to apply around doors, windows, balconies, or terraces. Imagine a summer afternoon sharing a meal outdoors with your family. Instead of filling the air with strong-smelling aerosols, you lightly spray the window frames, the corners of the terrace, or the perimeter of the table with this preparation. The environment retains a pleasant, fresh rosemary aroma and, in many cases, helps reduce the presence of insects that tend to approach the food. But its applications do not end inside the home. If you enjoy taking care of plants, this part will probably be one of the ones that interests you most. Anyone who has a garden or a few potted plants knows that excessive moisture can encourage the appearance of fungi and other problems that affect the appearance of the leaves. Before turning to more aggressive products, many people try homemade solutions as a preventive or supportive measure. A common way to use this preparation is to dilute about 2 tablespoons of the extract in approximately 1 liter of water. It is then gently sprayed onto the leaves, preferably during the early morning hours or late afternoon, always avoiding the hours of greatest sun exposure. Think of a plant that has lost some of its intense color and is beginning to show small spots on its leaves. After applying this solution periodically and accompanying it with proper watering and adequate ventilation, many people observe that the plant gradually regains a healthier and more vigorous appearance. In addition, since it is a simple preparation, it avoids the need to use stronger products in situations where they are not necessary. And perhaps one of the least discussed benefits is the savings it can represent. Nowadays, it seems that there is a different product for every need. One for cleaning windows, another for the kitchen, another for the bathroom, another for hair, another for skin, and yet another for eliminating odors. Little by little, all those containers end up taking up space and increasing monthly expenses almost without us realizing it. With this preparation, exactly the opposite happens. Using only vinegar and rosemary, you can make a versatile product that many people use for different household and personal care tasks. The initial investment is usually very low, especially if you have a rosemary plant at home or can easily get some fresh branches. Beyond the money you can save, the true value lies in recovering simple knowledge that was passed down from generation to generation for years. Preparing these types of solutions at home also means knowing exactly what ingredients you are using, reducing the consumption of unnecessary containers, and opting for simpler alternatives for many everyday tasks. And after learning about all these uses, it is natural for one final question to arise. If this preparation has been used for so long, why isn't it talked about more? The reality is that traditional recipes rarely receive the same attention as commercial products. Preparations like this do not belong to a single company, but rather a part of popular knowledge that has been passed down from one generation to another for centuries. Precisely for that reason, they often remain in the background compared with modern solutions that have large advertising campaigns. This does not mean that we should distrust all the products available on the market. Many of them have been developed thanks to important scientific advances and serve a very useful purpose. However, it is also true that sometimes we forget that some simple ingredients can still have a place in our daily routine. The true value of this mixture is not in promising miraculous results, but in reminding us that nature offers resources that, when used correctly, can become practical allies for personal care and for different household tasks. Preparing it at home also has another benefit. You know exactly what ingredients it contains. You can adapt it to the use you want to give it, and in addition, you reduce the consumption of unnecessary containers and products. It is a simple way to recover customs that for many years helped millions of people solve small, everyday needs. Sometimes we think that the more complex a product is, the better its results will be. However, experience shows that effectiveness does not always depend on complicated formulas or eye-catching packaging. In many cases, the real difference lies in knowing how to properly make use of ingredients that have been part of our lives for centuries. If you know someone who is always looking for home remedies, send them this video. They may discover a trick they have never heard of. See you in the next video.